I've always wondered what it would be like to be that girl. You know, the ones who seem to have it all figured out, that perfect life, an incredible career, partner, and everything in between. Well, so far, I've identified more as imperfectly perfect. But here's a crazy idea. You and I'm confident we can have it all too. A life we're in love with. Because, hear me out, the more I go through life, the more I realize that truly, actually no one knows what they're really doing. And let's be honest, we're all out here just trying to figure it all out. Life can be messy, busy, and lonely sometimes. But most of all, it's pretty epic, and that's the fun of it. Making mistakes and learning to love who you are. Because you can't hate the experiences that shaped you, right? Maybe it's about unbecoming everything that isn't really you, so you can become who you were meant to be in the first place. But one thing I know for sure is that if there's one thing I'm willing to bet on, it's myself, my true self, and so should you. Welcome to the She's Got It All Figured Out podcast. Well, almost. A personal development podcast helping you design a life you love within the 8 dimensions of wellness. Now, grab a warm cup of coffee, go on your hot girl walk, or put on your sweats and get comfy. But whatever you're doing, get ready for some epic girl talk. Hi, Stefania. Welcome to the She's Got It All Figured Out podcast. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, I'm so excited to talk to you because we've known each other for a little bit and I followed your journey. But yeah, I'm excited for everyone to learn more about you. So for people who don't know you, you're a registered dietitian and you specialize in helping people with intuitive eating and also healing their relationship with their bodies and with food, which I think is really an amazing mission. And like so many people like benefit from just hearing from you and like what you're working towards. And yeah, just to like kickstart things, you started your own private practice, so that's like an amazing project. Can you tell me a little bit more about that and your goals and like what you're offering to people?
Yes, it's a very exciting time for us to speak because I just launched my private practice. It's been not even a month officially. And so my main focus is nutritional coaching, so one-on-one coaching. I also do group coaching, which I will delve into a little bit more in 2025. I like hosting workshops and wellness events. I do workshops in gyms or also in corporate settings. So yeah, a lot of stuff coming up. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so nice to see like on social media, like if people go follow you, everything you've been doing. And let's also start with like what was your like passion to like get in this field? You know, like why did you get into it in the beginning?
It's a good question. Getting into nutrition, I always enjoyed science in school and human relations and, like helping others. I feel like my mission in this life is really to serve others by helping them or guiding them towards well-being. And nutrition is such a big part of that. And nutrition affects so much more than just physical health, right? There's the mental aspect and so that's why I started. And I would say that deep down, I think I always wanted to have my private practice. But obviously when I first started, came out of school, I needed to learn and get some groundwork experience. And then the pull just came. Like I felt the calling, I felt it. Things were aligning towards that, and I decided to take the leap. But it's not easy. It's for sure filled with different emotions, and there's a bit of anxiety and fear that comes up. But I decided.
It's not only having your skills, but it's like building the entrepreneurship part of it too. Yeah.
Exactly. And then, like, I didn't study that, right? We study nutrition. It's all science stuff and health. But the business aspect is something that I'm learning a lot about. And it's really interesting and fun, actually.
Yeah, and like from what I've seen from your journey, like I always felt like you were gonna head into that direction. Like I remember like just when I met you like yeah, I think like 5 or 6 years ago now, like even like while you were studying, you were building like these relationships and helping people already, which I think is like the map of someone who's like gonna help like a lot of people. So yeah, and what are you like mostly
Thank you.
excited about like your new practice?
I would say mainly my creativity because it's my own thing. I can kind of shape it as I want, and that's the main part that's interesting, right? Being creative, and I have other projects. Like right now, I'm building resources that are more aligned with resources for my clients or patients, whatever you want to call them. Yeah, to help them better their relationship with food and with their bodies. And a lot of my future projects will all be towards that. For example, like my
Mhm.
long-term goal would be to go into wellness retreats.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah, that's one of my one of my main visions for the future. I would love to host that and bring that nutritional aspect to retreats that are like there are retreats about
Yeah, that's interesting, but
yoga.
I've never really seen that. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of also innovating in that aspect.
that's true. And I'd love to talk a bit more about like maybe some of your success stories like that you've had like since you've started in this field, either like with clients that you've had or for yourself.
Yes, so I've been working in private practice. It wasn't my practice. It was kind of like an agency that would, take care of booking my schedule and everything. And my success stories, I would say, are the one-on-one coaching when you do support or guide another person towards actually healing their relationship with food and like progressing and
Hmm.
getting out of bad negative body image or diet cycling. So like a lot of women, unfortunately, I've met with were stuck in that negative cycle where they would deprive themselves or
Hmm.
restrict their food intake and then lose a lot of weight, but then they would go back to their initial ways of eating and eating habits because it was more comfortable and more sustainable, and then they would gain back more weight and then diet again. So once they came out of that, a lot of them expressed their gratitude, and for me it's extremely gratifying. That's why I do what I do, to help people build better relationships with themselves ultimately, and then that has a ripple effect on their whole life and different aspects of their life. It can be in their career, it can be in their relationships, and for me, that's success for me.
Yeah, like it has a massive impact on people's lives. Like, and like this podcast is centered about the 8 dimensions of wellness, and like nutrition is such a huge part of it because yeah, it's gonna affect like all of these other dimensions that we go through in the podcast. And I'm kind of curious also because I feel like maybe you tell me, but there's a part of like also mental health and like a lot of like I guess like a mental journey, like doing that transition through intuitive eating. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Yes, the the whole nutrition. How do I say? Not your nutrition path or your journey. I would say is I don't know. Like this is not like a science based thing, but this is like I would say 90% mental. So
Mm,
it's really your food perception. How do you see foods? How do you see yourself as well? What are your misconceptions about food? So there are so many, like, oh, this, if I eat this, I'm going to gain weight, or if
mm,
I have to avoid these foods because otherwise I'll be unhealthy. Like all this stuff is based on our upbringing, based on also societal standards, the media. I mean, now we see everything online
Yeah.
is so easily accessible. And sadly, like I'm going into another side note, but like a lot of people are online spreading information, and it's misinformation, unfortunately, and people are listening to them and taking their advice, and then they're applying it
Yeah.
to their eating habits, and it's not necessarily true or right for them. So guiding them and empowering them with personalized advice is extremely important, but most of the work is up here. Yeah. So like when you're ready, also ready to implement changes, when you're ready to, care for yourself, because it is a lot of self-care within that, like not
Yeah.
skipping meals, eating when you're hungry, tuning into your body. All that is, it stems from inside. It's a lot of inner work. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious when you said like tuning in with your body. I feel like that's really like an important part of it. And I'd love to like know if you have any like tips for someone who wants to like just take baby steps into intuitive eating.
Yes, baby steps. Okay, well, intuitive eating is based on 10 principles. So it's an actual practice that's used in nutrition. It was built, well, conceived, or I don't know. It was made by two dietitians in 1995, and these 10 principles are, I won't name them all or list them all, but one is, for example, stop categorizing foods as being good or bad, right? All foods have their place, and all foods have different characteristics. Sure, some are less nutritious, but some are crunchy, salty, sweet, etc. The other one is listening to your hunger signals. So eating when you feel hungry instead of eating when you're not hungry physically, or instead of waiting to be famished before a meal. Another one would be having a healthy relationship with your body, so positive body image. The other one is doing physical activity out of pleasure and not out of obligation. Another one is also listening to your satiety signals, so stop eating when you're full and not when you're overly full. And also the opposite, not, don't stop before you feel satisfied. Um, you know, Release guilt from food. So there's so many. And I would say when I start with my clients, depending on where they are, obviously, and because it's so personal. So some people, have certain boxes checked. Some don't, but it's really tuning into your body. So I would say asking yourself before meals if you are hungry physically, and what that look for you or feel for you actually. Do you have a hollow feeling in your stomach? Do you have like more salivation? Do you have a little bit of energy drop? What is your hunger signal? And then when you do, don't wait to eat. Just eat as soon as you can. And working on that, I would say is step number one. You know, listening
Yeah, that's
to.
interesting. Like just these little signs like that your body's giving you. That's interesting.
Yeah, because we're disconnected. A lot of people, sadly, like are disconnected. We're connected when we're kids, when we're children. It's easy. Children's will kind of know intuitively when they're hungry. But then as time goes by, because of, let's say just school or work, you have a tight schedule, you have to eat at a certain time, or your parents force you to finish your meal before going to play, or
Yeah.
force you to eat something before having dessert, or all that stuff is internal. And that's why I said it's very it's very mental shifts that have to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about self-love? Are there things that you personally do that work for you in terms of self-love and intuitive eating?
Yeah, I think that I've always been an intuitive eater. I've always had a relatively healthy relationship with food. And it's something that sometimes I can, you know, it can happen because when I feel more anxious or stressed, so my sleep will be deprived or affected. If I'm less active, if I'm not physically active, I'm also going to be, you know, my hunger signals are going to be different. All that does affect my well-being overall, and it can affect my eating habits. For example, I won't, you know, have enough energy to make myself a meal, so I'll have something super fast, or I'm going to order in. Anyways, it's just continuing as much as you can to give yourself that care and that love on a daily basis, starting from the moment you wake up, right? Taking the time. I feel people are so rushed. We are rushed. It's a rushed society we live in, and we
Yeah.
don't take the time to actually, you know, okay, instead of scrolling on my phone, I'm gonna, you know, read a book or journal or go for a
Yeah.
walk. Um, these are things that are truly important, and I feel like those are like the also at the baseline of well-being, like eating, sleeping, drinking water, hydrating,
Yeah.
breathing, and moving. These are the five um, needs, basic needs of the body. And so if we can work all five of these on a daily basis, we're good. But I know it's not always perfect. It's normal. We're human.
Yeah, especially like you mentioned, like the rush of our society, like people don't always take the time to like cook a great meal or just like take care of themselves in that way. Like I know I'm guilty of that. A lot of people that are listening probably are. So yeah, do you have like tips on that? Like just to like take that time like for yourself and like around food throughout the week or throughout the day?
Um, Actually, it's something I kind of struggle with, but it's organization, planning. So the more
Hmm.
you carve time in your calendar or in your schedule for the week in advance for that, then your chances for you to do it are much higher because you have that allocated time. So it's just the same thing as like movement, whatever it is that you enjoy doing. If you put it in your calendar and your agenda, it's gonna most probably happen. So start by that, and then yeah, I think that's the first one. Then what else? Eating whole foods. You know,
Yeah.
eating whole foods are more nutritious and sometimes better, more economic. I would say than constantly
That's true. Yeah.
going out. And so preparing your lunch if you can, preparing your breakfast. Yeah, but I would say it's giving yourself the time to do it would be number one.
And it can be, I guess, something enjoyable too. Like you make it kind of like a moment for yourself. I don't know, like I guess like putting some music on, like getting things ready.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Make it fun. Obviously, cook what you enjoy, foods that you like. Don't force yourself to make something, a recipe with vegetables you don't normally eat. Um, yeah, make it flavorful and pleasurable, make it fun. You can put some music, you can cook with a friend. There's so many ways to make it more fun, but keep it simple, right? The more we make complicated recipes, it can be
Yeah.
discouraging, especially if we have a busy schedule. So yeah, something simple, I think, would be also key.
Yeah, that's good. And then now jumping back into like your own personal journey, like either if it was through your studies or to where you're at now, what have been like some like challenges that you've faced in your journey that you're proud that you got through them?
I think that initially I had a lot of fears blocking me from actually taking the leap. And it's normal. I think that, we're human and we have like, I don't know if it's insecurity, but it's a normal thing, right? We don't have it all figured out. And then once, I feel like once I've started, once I get going, that's what kind of made me take the leap. So kind of like preparing myself mentally for it and then just doing it. So yeah, it is
I think
kind of
that's like the
jumping.
hardest step sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, jumping and saying like, you know what, like it's not going to be perfect. There may be things that will come up or other challenges, but you know what? Um, I believe in myself and I know that this is what I want. I also have a vision for myself long term. So this is what's going to push me to keep going and do it, you know? And
Yeah.
I think that that's how it is in anything that you want to start, even if it's not business wise, you know, like there are challenges in life. That's normal. So it's just having that confidence and knowing that you're able to face them, that you'll be able to face them. And there's something that I really like that you said in your intro, that you said, you know, I'm going to bet on myself. And I'm like, that's exactly it. Like I'm betting on myself. I know that I can do it and, I will, you know? So
Yeah.
I think
And I
that,
think there's,
go
oh,
ahead.
sorry,
Yeah.
go ahead. I was just gonna bounce on that and say that sometimes we take for granted also like taking the leap is like so scary, but at the same time, like if we take your journey and like creating your own private practice, imagine like the number of people you'll be helping in your career. Like you're also like doing it like to help others. So like
Yes.
it's kind of like you should do it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's practicing what I preach also, you know? Like my goal is to empower others so that they can exploit or they can be their best self and do the, you know, whatever they want to put their mind to and achieve it. So it is exactly like setting an example and collectively helping others, empowering others to do it too, in whatever field they are in. And also, you know, with the nutrition path, it's exactly that. It's like taking the leap and not being afraid to make changes for yourself.
Hmm.
And yeah, like when you come out of your comfort zone, that's where you grow the most, right?
Yeah, that's
So we
true.
have to
It's
accept,
scary, but we gotta do it.
yeah, accept being uncomfortable, basically, because
Hmm.
that's what it is. But there's so much beauty and growth that comes out of that.
Yeah, and the more you put yourself out there, I feel the more it becomes easier to do that. So the like I don't know if you've experienced that in your life. Like the more, for example, you do a lot of like presentations and like workshops in front of a lot of people, like with practice, like it becomes like easier and easier to be out there.
Exactly. Yeah, I remember a couple years ago. I think this is when we had first met. I was afraid to.
Hmm.
I wasn't doing any like videos on my phone on my Instagram. I didn't want to film
Hmm.
myself. I was like too shy. I was afraid of judgment. And then one thing led to another. I don't remember when I started, but then I kind of, you know, got over that. And now like it's super easy to do
Hmm.
a little video on my phone. For me, it's like nothing. So yeah, I'm excited for things to also develop and for me to feel even more comfortable with, I guess, like bigger crowds and bigger projects for sure.
Yeah, I mean that's just that is like a big transformation, like being able to like yeah, film yourself, put it out there. But again, like you're bringing a lot of value like in the world by doing that. So
Thank you. Thank you so much. So are you.
yeah.
And so are you, Alexandra.
Uh, I'd love like to know if you have like an advice for people in your industry.
Yeah. Okay, so in my industry, I would say, well, first off, if you're passionate about it, if you, um, yeah, if you're passionate about it, you will learn, you will put the effort, you will put the time, and just follow your gut. You'll know when you'll be ready to take the leap or to do another project on your own. And listen to that inner voice. You know, don't. It's easy to push it away and be like, "Oh, I'll do this in a couple years, and I'll do this."
Mm,
You know, but time is precious, and I think that when you feel aligned with your goals, literally the universe will conspire for it to happen. Everything just kind of happens. It works for some reason. Things just fall into place, and that's like a sign that you're on the right path, you know? So feeling aligned with what you're doing also will bring you a lot of energy. It's not, yeah, it does take energy. It takes your time, but when you enjoy it and you feel passionate about it, it gives you energy. So that's really, really positive also, like for me personally. And yeah, the other thing would be to be patient with yourself, which I am learning to
Sorry
be.
for a lot of people.
Yes. And that's the same thing again with like your nutrition path, your nutrition journey. If like say people are so focused on rapid results, but it takes
We want
time.
instant gratification. It's just, I love
Yes.
that you mentioned it a little bit, like it's enjoying the little victories like along the way. So
Yeah, absolutely. Enjoying the journey, you know, not the destination. Focus on the journey because there's so much happening. There's so much beauty in the journey, and it's understanding also that when you're focused on the journey, you'll get to the destination much quicker most of the time.
that's
Because if
true.
you're so focused on going fast, you know, you'll have setbacks, you'll have delays. So it's really like going one step at a time. That's what I would
Yeah,
say.
because it can get discouraging. Like if you're just seeing like the end of the road, like it's gonna take a while to get there. So just
Yeah,
take it easy.
yeah, yeah. So that's my other
Yeah.
advice. Yeah.
And in terms of for you, like looking ahead with your new practice and everything, what are like your personal goals?
Well, right now, I want to obviously expand my practice. I'm starting, so I want to build a good flow of clients and reach as many people as I can. I want to, like I said, offer group coaching, which is a project I'm working on. I want to host more workshops, and yeah, like I said, like eventually host wellness retreats. That's
Yeah.
a big thing. And yeah, just keep empowering individuals on their health journey, helping them reach their full potential. Yeah, making them feel good, and yeah, just promoting self-care and self-love through that.
Yeah, I'm excited to like keep watching your journey and everything you'll be doing. Like I know it's gonna be really great. So,
Thank you. Thank you so
yeah.
much. Thank
And
you.
do you have a little quote or motto that you live by?
Yes, it's on my website and everything. It's slowly but surely. And it's exactly
Yeah.
what I just said. Like, take the time, and time is relative. It may, you know, you may feel like, oh, if I'm going slow, like I'm not advancing, but you are, and that's the sure way to get there. Yeah.
Yeah, and then for people who would want to work with you or get to know you, where can they find you?
They can find me on my website, on Instagram, on Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever you want. Um, Instagram is at Steph Vitale underscore nutrition, or www.stephvitalenutrition.com. Yes. So Steph with an F. Very important.
Yeah, we'll share all the links too.
Yeah, excellent. Perfect.
Cool. Well, thank you so much, Stefania, for joining me today. It's like been like an amazing episode. Like as always, you have great insight. I'm excited for everyone to input like all the advice you gave just in this episode, and for people to get to know you and go follow you too.
Oh, thank you so much. It was such a pleasure, and I hope we can do this again soon. Thank you.
Yes, of course, we'll follow the journey. We'll do like again in a couple of years another episode.
Yes, we have to keep our rhythm. Good.
That's it. Cool. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Have a great day.